Hi Scorpio, my name is Audrey Alison. Thank you for joining me for your April 2016 forecast for the month. I'm happy to be here. It's a beautiful LA day. Let's start the top of the month. Thank you for your subscriptions as well and for liking and sharing these posts. I appreciate your support. So now let's start the top of the month with two transits on the 5th of April. We have Venus, the planet of love and money, entering into Aries, into your sixth house of health and daily routine and work and your regimen, your schedule within your daily structure. Venus is the smoothing over and harmony of this sector. So for those of you who haven't been feeling well, if you were under the weather, you have Venus now smoothing over this sector and helping you to heal. This transit will trine Mars and Saturn, who's retrograde, in your house of Sagittarius, the second house. So this affects the finances in a positive way. A trine is a harmonious energy that is filtered in between 120 degrees of these planets. They're positioned 120 degrees away from each other, and this will impact the earnings because the second house, Sagittarius for you, has a review occurring with Saturn there, but Mars is energy and stamina in this sector. So you're gaining the finances at this time. I love when Mars is in the second house. Mars is stationed here for quite a while. He retrogrades on the 17th in this second house sector and goes all the way back to the 23-degree mark of Scorpio. Okay, so you're going to have Mars back into your sign in the reviewing process through June 30th. So the second house, reviewing the budget. First house, reviewing the self. How much energy do you have? You need stamina for certain goals, and Mars is going to deplete some of your energy in order to have you gain it again when he goes direct on the 30th through the first house again. Interesting. So you might feel better with Venus in the 6th, but then go through a low energy period through the Mars retrograde of the 17th. Now, before I jump too far ahead of myself, we have a second transit on the 5th of April, and that is Mercury exiting out of Aries and into Taurus. This is a fixed sign like you are, Scorpio. So this energy squares you when Mercury enters Taurus into the 7th house of relationships and marriage and partnership and business partnership. So your communication style in your relationship is affected, and this could be positive, but this will square any planets you hold in Scorpio, whether it's your sun, your ascendant, your moon. But Mercury in Taurus will trine Pluto, your ruling planet, who's stationed in Capricorn in this third house of communications. So the communication style between your relationship is what's being worked on with this transit, or your business partnership if you're not in relationship. Now, if you're looking for a committed relationship or the monogamy at this time, Mercury in the 7th could work for you, and it could actually be really good for online dating and you taking the first step, or you speaking first because it's Mercury. It's about the communication style and reaching out, and maybe even asking some of your contacts and people you communicate with often to see if they want to set you up. Mercury in the 7th could have the neighborhood or the people around you getting involved in your dating life, or your relationship life, I should say. 5th house is more dating. Now on the 7th of April, we have our new moon at 18 degrees of Aries in the 6th house, conjunct Venus, conjunct Uranus, and the sun and the moon are there. So if you want to start new health routines or a health practice or a new job, the new moon on the 7th is the time to focus on that and to initiate that, to write your list down of what you'd like to implement. Great time to get your personal trainers and to start a new health practice and to start a new diet, to watch what's being ingested around the new moon on the 7th in Aries. On the 18th, Pluto retrogrades in your communication sector. He's been there for such a long time, and he's an intense planet. So you might feel a little withdrawn in how much you need to share with people once Pluto retrogrades. But there's so many other transits that affect the communication style, like Mercury, that I don't feel it's too impeded when Pluto retrogrades. But you might feel Scorpio, your ruling planet, when he retrogrades, you go inward a little bit. You're generally a little more reserved and quiet as a sign, a sun sign. Pluto retrograde might make you go inward a little bit deeper, a little more reflective, very choosy in who you're speaking with, because it's a retrograde in the 3rd house of speech and study and local travel. And the relationship with siblings gets a little more intense at that time as well. The sun enters Taurus on the 19th. I love this because this is your 7th house of marriage and partnerships, where Mercury is resting right now. So this energy, the sun is conjunct Mercury, and that is a great position for starting to express yourself in relationship and to really be listened to. The 7th house is such a mutually receptive house. It takes 2 to tango. That energy all exists within the 7th house of partnership. And I love the sun being there because it really is the life force. So where he goes, that's where most of the energy shines. And it's in your potential marriage, soulmate, business partnerships. The 22nd, we see our full moon in Scorpio, 2 degrees of Scorpio in the 1st house. There's some closure here for you. Maybe you're finishing one goal and starting the next when it comes to either health, communication, or relationship, which is the general thread of your forecast for the month. The full moon in Scorpio is about culmination and ending and accomplishment and achievement. The full moon doesn't have to be negative, like a bad release all the time. But in the 1st house, you could have accomplished something in regards to your body or the self or ego. But something needs to be seen in the full moon of Scorpio. So become aware around that time. It is a quiet day on the 22nd, so perhaps your intuition will feed you what needs to be fed. On the 28th, we have Mercury retrograde in that sign, that fixed sign of Taurus that squares you, wherever you hold your Scorpio. So Mercury retrogrades at 23 degrees of Taurus on the 28th through 14 degrees of Taurus. And this is that 7th house of relationships. Oh, interesting. Okay, so Mercury review in the 7th house. Some of you are reviewing your business partnerships. Some of you are analyzing the marriage. Some of you are focusing on the details of relationship past. And I say that because of a Mercury retrograde bringing in unfinished business from the past in the 7th house of significant other. Now, Mercury direct on the 23rd of May at 14 degrees of Taurus doesn't officially clear his shadow until the 7th of June when he reaches that 23 degree mark of Taurus again. And then Venus on the 29th makes her transit into Taurus. So 7th house again. It's really a lot about your relationship analysis and details. So let's get to the cards and see what happens. Also, for those of you looking for a relationship, Venus going into the 7th is great attraction. She's great energy to draw in relationship at this time. So if you're single and looking and you want that energy, get out the last day of the month. Now, Mercury is retrograde, but still, you don't always have to talk with your mouth. You can have a meeting of the minds, if you know what I mean. So let's see what the Alchemical deck by Robert M. Place has to say for Scorpio for the month of April. And if you'd like to book with me, I read all through the week. I'm at audreyallison.com. And you would select your desired reading length via the PayPal button, and I'll get back to you to set up some appointment times. All right, Scorpio, here are your cards for April 2016. Victory, the Ace of Swords, success, victory, wisdom, clear thinking, making a decision, clean-cut decision. The Seven of Swords, I don't like this card too much. This card is about manipulation and sneaky energy. Do you see that fox with the sword in his mouth? It's about being cunning or not saying what you really mean, or being withholding information about what you really want to say versus what's said. Three of Coins, this is a card of artistry and skill set. The artist, the painter, drawing, writing, being creative and expressive, and being paid for what you do, making a living on your artistry. And the Three of Cups, friendship, support, generosity, respect, the sharing of emotions. So you have 3 coins and 3 cups. And you have one final card as well. King of Swords. Talk about clear-cut wisdom and decision making. These kind of go together, except this is your victory card. To start with the Ace of Swords is to start with a yes. So your answer, whatever you were thinking about this reading and how it applies to you, how it may resonate, the answer is yes. And this card, watch your tone and anyone else's tone with you. There could be some manipulative behavior in the 7th house of business partnerships or relationship, or with a boss or an authority figure, an air sign male, or just the King of Swords is your authority. Could be a detective, a cop, a judge. It could be your boss at work. Maybe your boss is the only one that you can really turn to right now, who trusts you and is actually paying you for a skill set. I feel like if there are some manipulative energies around you in the work environment, that you will be making a decision to either break free from that or to do something on your own, or perhaps through the help and support of friends, if you're getting out of that position because it exists with this energy. So for some of you, this might represent you in that you're a little bit bitter or resentful right now, and that needs to be cleared away. And maybe you need to get out a creative outlet or discuss this with friendships, with friends around you. I hope this was helpful at this time. Scorpio, thanks for joining me. I'm wishing you a sweet April, and remember, the sky is limitless, so reach for the stars.